All right. Well, I trust that we are live.
We are.
There you go. So I wonder, Stu.
Yes.
Today we're going to talk about trust, not trust certificates, not all those badges that people throw up on their website that make you think that they're not criminals. Um, and we're also going to talk about some things that you could do to increase trust on your website. But would you say that in the age of AI that someone's ability to bamboozle you might be amplified? Do you think there's more BS going on now or not?
Um. Yes, I think it's easier and um more believable. Whereas before AI, I still didn't trust stuff that I saw or emails that I would receive. Somebody telling me that I am an inheritance from Nigeria. You know, so I
Be
now
nice. Our ship has come in. It's like,
yeah.
I
I'll
won
run
the Irish
upstairs and say,
lottery.
"Honey, we're millionaires."
hmm Yeah, I just have to send in the deposit to prove it's me.
Right.
Okay, so when you typically think of trust, what typically comes to mind? What makes you trust somebody or not trust somebody on the interwebs? And not because you read my newsletter today.
Uh, well, I did read the newsletter today. I would say uh, established.
Okay, so track record.
Yep.
Okay,
Um, I see a variety of um, man, that's a tough one because these could all be fake, but the things that get me are um, testimonials,
uh huh.
willingness to talk to a human.
Okay, I like that. So we'll just call that
So
legit
I like it when people
communication.
buy. I like it when people buy like a online program,
Uh huh.
right? And I give them my phone number, call me at your convenience.
Mm-hmm.
That is establishing that they just spent money and there's a human that's about to talk to them.
Okay.
And if I can, where I'm buying stuff online, I will typically use track record like Amazon. Okay.
Okay.
Whenever I see something I want, and let's say it's on TikTok. Okay.
There's no
I like
scamming going on TikTok, man.
Right.
I mean,
So I'll go and I'll see something on TikTok I want, but instead of pushing that buy button, I go over to Amazon and see what they're selling it for.
right.
And even if it's a little more expensive on Amazon, I'll order it.
You mean to tell me that a TikTok ad to a Baidu link with 15 warnings things that show up on your computer that dissuades you from buying?
Yep, shipping from China.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um
Not that that's a bad thing. It's just, you know, I'd rather deal with people who have already received their goods if it's made in China. I don't mind things being made in China, not, all things. I'd say probably, I don't
just the
know,
stuff with lead and arsenic in it. That's what I'm looking
guessing I
for.
might have 30-40% of my belongings that were made in China just because that's the way it is.
Yeah. I want the stuff with
But
the
if
high mercury content, I mean that's you
right,
can only get that in China.
yeah, but if I'm looking for quick shipping, I look to see if they're in the United States. Those are that's helpful as well.
So,
Have an address, not just a PO box.
and I think one thing to say, maybe not US but home country, okay?
Yeah, there you go.
Um and a physical address, not a PO box.
Though I do have a PO box.
Oh, you're not legit.
Yeah.
Um, well, and that's interesting to I think back to when I had my first business. I had a PO box, but I paid like a mailboxes, et cetera, to make it look like I was in suite 17362. It's like, wow, they got.
Right.
Anyway. So, track record, testimonials, legit communication channels, real human, established site I've heard of, quick shipping from my home country and a physical address, not a PO box. So, I'd say those are all really good things that we probably subconsciously don't really even think of.
Right.
Um, Interesting. We've got a self promoter.
Hmm.
Uh, Brad says I have much greater trust in people whom I've known since before AI was a thing. That's a good thought. Um, yeah, I think, and we talked about week before last, we were talking about fake user generated content,
Yeah.
where that's something that all of a sudden these can be fake, and they can be so realistically fake that they're well. It's kind of like when I went to Turkey, and I wish I had taken a picture of this. I think I did. I can't find it, but there was this giant, really beautifully done sign over a schlock shop at the end of the bazaar, and it said genuine fake Rolexes.
Hey, they're
Genuine
not lying.
fake Rolexes.
They're not lying.
And it's kind of like new and improved. Something can't be new and improved, but yet those just go together and no one thinks about it. It can either be new or it can be old and improved, but it can't be new and improved. But so testimonials fake, okay?
Right.
They're just
Yeah. They can be fake. Yeah.
but there's a way to make them not feel fake, okay? Track record, that can be faked. I mean, you can
Hmm.
lie about your background.
Yeah, that's
People will
true.
find out eventually. And we're just examining this. We're just
Yes,
we're
I
just
would agree. I would
we're,
agree.
we're just talking. Now, legit communication channels, it's right now it's kind of hard to fake talking to a human, like having an interaction like what we're having. You can have AI be an appointment setter and other stuff like that. At some point, though, in the very near future, you won't be able to tell the difference between talking to a live human and not talking to a live human. You'll be able to have a conversation that there won't be the pauses, and hell, the AI will probably be more respectful than I am on the phone, as far as not interrupting. So, but this I think is important. I can see I'm talking to you. I mean, I remember when I signed up for your PT club, and within 15 minutes, I'm calling you like, "Hey, I just signed up." And you're like, "Okay." And
Yeah.
give me a minute there, sport. I'll send you some stuff. Actually, I think what you said, did you fill out the intake form? I said, let me go do that. Real human. How would you, okay, this is one of those Twilight Zone things, though. How do
Yeah.
you prove, and this I would encourage everybody in the comments too. How do you prove that you're human? How do you prove that you're human in an online world? Be curious to get Susan. You want to come in and get in on this? She's like, yeah, whatever. All right, Susan. How do you prove? And I don't know the answer. How do you prove that you're human?
I mean,
I mean, my first thought is, why bother? I mean, because I could stand there and jump up and down all day long and say, it's like when we're on doing things like right now. Are you live? Well, yes, I am live. I'm not laying in a coffin. But they ask it every time and they don't believe us.
huh.
Right.
So and we are.
So
You
I
could
saw.
say, "Hey, here's my phone number. Call me
No, my
right now."
favorite game
And then
is
I
I do
do it
not
right in
know
front of a
you.
video.
I don't know that number.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
No. I'm not.
Oops.
It's a no-win situation.
Hey, Jim.
You got to answer it, Stu.
Oh. Hey, Jim.
What's up, Stu?
See, it's a
There
thing.
you go.
We're
All right,
talking.
cool. Just wanted to make sure. He's like, hang up. Don't do
I think
that
that'll
again,
do it.
man. Um, okay, so how do you prove it? Real time, and I think real reaction, right? Like, like how could AI fake that? Like, hey, dude, here you go, blah blah blah, right? So let's talk about this for a second. I saw and watched a news story. Apparently, in China, there is this, and I don't know a lot about it. Okay, so I'm going to come off as half knowledgeable, half-assed in the whole thing. But apparently, there's a big thing in China for with e-com where people go. It's like the digital equivalent of the farmers market, and people show up at their site and they're live, or they show up on social media and they are live. They're showing the product, they're explaining the product, they're answering questions about the product, they're putting on a little show, and they might be on there for 2 or 3 hours. It's like doing the equivalent of your own home shopping network on your own site,
Oh,
or
yeah,
on
seen that.
a site.
Yeah,
But it's your stuff, it's your
yeah.
show, your network. And
So basically, you're saying we should have open office hours on a consistent basis?
no, because that would drive me absolutely freaking insane. Um, that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying eventually, yeah, we could probably do that. Like, Monday we're
But
showing
if
up.
it,
I'll do demos. You can ask me questions. Might do it. Not gonna do it every day.
right, but if
So,
it drives you insane, what benefit is that to you as the business owner?
okay, you're keeping me from making my point.
Sorry.
So there's this dude who looks a lot like the dude who used to be behind the counter at Topps China up next to Movie Time back in the day, 20 odd years ago. Okay. Medium height, chubby build, round face, looks just like the stereotypical dude that worked at Topps China. This guy has one of the most popular real time e commerce shopping shows in all of China.
Gets everything done in 10 minutes? Sorry. Couldn't help
That's
it.
a big thing. Okay, get 20-minute. This dude makes millions of dollars in a day selling stuff.
Damn.
Last week they used an AI. I have no idea how they did it, but they used an AI version of him that was online for 6 hours, and it animated he's got his little hype man that sits there with him, his little Ed McMahon. 6 hours the AI interacted with people live. Nobody knew it had his mannerisms, his jokes, his everything. They made $7 million that day with the AI being there live, interacting with customers as if it was him.
So basically, they
Damn.
took everything that he had done previously live, fed it into an AI, and created a second version, a clone of him.
That's pretty, yes. That is a very good, I majored in history explanation of what happened. Yes. Um,
I mean,
good summary.
well, but
That,
there's some of that ones where you took your voice and you fed your voice in, and it came back with something that wasn't perfectly your voice, but was pretty close.
but the thing is, so it was real time and it was real reaction. So what we were thinking right there, how you prove you're real, is gone. Literally, the dude was cloned and was selling better than he was selling. But that is something, if anybody knows about this stuff or this phenomenon in China or what they're doing, I would be very curious to know more about it if you know anything about it. I mean, I got to sit down and find this, please, hey, anybody that's watching, could you Google that for me and explain it to me? But I've heard of it before, but it's almost like the best way I can describe it is it's kind of like an influencer meets Vince from Slap Chop, And
Yes.
so they're like, hey, song and dance, and then the demo and the whiz bang and the putting on the makeup or doing whatever. But when I heard that, and I saw the video, and it was a dude. I mean, they were showing, split screen of him doing his thing usually, and then the AI thing, and you couldn't tell the difference.
Man.
I wonder if there's somebody on the backside feeding in for certain questions just to keep an eye on it in case like somebody was to throw in there, "Are you live?" Just to be able to throw back, getting him to say, "Yes, we are," and
Now
keep rolling.
I don't know, but I know that it's a very lively thing that they do. I mean, it's like a Facebook Live environment. There's a ton of chat scrolling by and stuff. So I don't know enough about it, but I just know that the stuff that we used to think made us real is fast kind of disappearing.
Well, I wonder too if they feed that chat comment stuff through it as well and make it go by and make it seem like there's more people there than are really, to get others more interested in being involved.
Twitter bots don't buy stuff, and they had enough people there for him to sell $7 million worth of stuff.
But they can be used to build enough credibility to
maybe
to get others to think that it's safe and okay to use.
Yeah, I mean, I understand what you're saying. Yeah, I think that might be that's the article, or that's the thing. Dave stuck the article in there. Here, let me pull it up real quick. We'll be like those ones. Here you go. Here's the thing. Thank you for that. We'll show. Look, we're going to do a real-time reaction thing, Stu. We've never done this before. We're like them influencers and stuff. Here you go. Yeah, I'm going to continue without so go away. Screw you. A Chinese entrepreneur raked in $7.65 million after streaming using an interactive digital avatar. Yeah, this was the one.
Crazy.
Tried out live streaming using interactive digital avatars based on Baidu's generative artificial intelligence model. Able to sell more than real people can because he didn't have to take a bathroom break. Interact with viewers real time for over 6 hours on Sunday on Baidu's e-commerce live streaming platform Yuzhan. Raked in 55 million yuan, 7.65 million. Yeah, I mean it's I really want to see what I wish I spoke Chinese because that whole interactive model right there, I've
Google
seen people
Translate.
do. What's that?
Google Translate.
I don't know. I could stick my phone up to the speaker and have it do it. But that whole model is fascinating to me because I think people are craving that human interaction, and yet the AI is giving a better human interaction that people want in that situation than a human was.
Now I wonder, now that they've published that article, if you're going to have people purposely showing up to see if they can't throw it off.
What AI model was that they were using? Chinese AI, I assume.
Chinese AI. It said it was something Baidu's doing. They must have their own thing.
I did hear this morning that Zuckerberg has been reaching out to known AI scientists and other AI brain trust people, trying to recruit them to Facebook, to Meta, from hundreds. He's offering them millions, huge sums of money to come join his brain trust.
He yeah, and it's pissing I saw a big thing about that. He's going after the open AI people, but the open AI people are telling him to go pound sand because they have more faith in open AI than they do the redheaded monkey who thinks he's a cool MMA fighter now. And so, he's having a hard time, but he's also the kind of weird little dork that is telling people that they should make friends with AI because then they won't feel lonely.
Eeh.
So, there you go. What?
If they're friends with his AI, then they stay on the platform longer and he gets more money. So
Exactly.
there
So,
you go.
yeah, you can be friends with his creepy little demons. So
They'll help pay for his AI people.
I guess the bottom line though is that model, it's kind of like a home shopping channel and a webinar and an influencer and a Facebook Live all kind of had you know a love child together. And I'm just really curious about that model. But then how do you get people to show up to then absorb the content and potentially spend money? Do you have to be running sales? Are you running deals? Are you
Well, how
doing
much
the,
help,
we've only got 20 of
Baidu,
these?
because of the fact that Baidu is kind of like, isn't that like Amazon for them? And Amazon has a live stream thing that they do like QVC.
Amazon does?
Mhm.
I didn't know that.
Mhm.
Was Bezos get on there with his plastic girlfriend and
No, dude,
they
he
sell
retired.
stuff? Huh?
Damn.
He retired. He's all throwing things into the sky.
He's
Okay. Yeah, I
Or
just think
planning the
it's
most kept secret wedding.
I worst kept wedding in Italian history.
Mhm.
You know that there's an issue when you have environmentalists protesting your wedding. You know,
Yeah.
there's an issue on that. But I
No, you
would be
haven't done enough. You got to get more people to protest you. You are not living it big enough.
love me, hate me. There's no money in the middle.
Mm-hmm.
It's like the newspaper editor told me. He said if they're complaining, they're buying. Um, but I'm very curious about this interactive model of selling stuff. And I this is the one time I've wished I could speak Chinese so I could understand what they're doing and how they're doing it. But I guess I
well.
could watch it with the sound off.
I mean, I think the results speak for themselves.
Yes.
I mean, $7 million in sales is pretty darn good.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a good 6 hours. I mean, I'd
Yeah.
probably work 6 hours a week for that,
Yeah.
you know. But I'm just okay. I'm getting a little off track.
Yeah.
But that's okay.
Back
What
to
else is
trust.
new? Back to trust. Well, what makes people trust that dude to spend that kind of money? Whoever the
He's
being
established.
is established. Okay. I think that's
What exactly
important.
is he selling?
Stuff.
I mean, the delivery rate's there, and you don't have people complaining that it wasn't delivered. In fact, I tried to order something off of Amazon yesterday, and when I was looking at it, it had a little box that said, "This item is highly returned." I moved on.
Huh.
How's that for negative advertising? Hey, we're going to show this to you, but most people think it sucks butt.
If you want to try it, that's on you.
Don't say we didn't warn you.
Mm-hmm.
But that's a good point. Okay, so established site, real human, not necessarily. Okay, but establishes this established site, quick shipping, and I'm gonna put a word up here. Delivers. That's not a word. I'm gonna put something. Delivers the desired result. I think in the end, that's all that matters is are people getting the thing that they're paying for? What Susan just said, as long as the stuff's showing up and you don't have people showing up in the comments going, I ordered from this guy from Tops China before and the food sucks and it didn't get here or it came late or it was made out of cat or whatever, you know, in the end, what is the only thing anybody cares about?
Yeah.
Themselves and what they get.
The result.
delivers. Yeah.
That's it. That's the only thing anybody cares about anymore is the result. That's it. Are you selling and delivering a result? And I can't even spell it. It has a U in it. What was
Are you sure that's not supposed to be switched around there, dude?
reslut? Oh man, that was bad. That's like, whoa, I need the AI in my pen. Yeah, reslut. Is that like that's like a loose girl times two? A loose guy. Sorry, could be a loose person. I apologize. That was a sexist remark. Men can be sluts too, right, Stu?
I don't know.
That's why they call Mike Sluty.
Result. Okay. But you think about that. What result do you provide, Stu? What result do you sell?
Answers.
No.
Answers to their questions
You provide
and
answers.
yeah.
Okay. Jesus. I think I might be having a stroke. Answers.
I hope not.
Yeah, me too. Either that or I just can't spell. Answers so that they can
How to get their result.
get a result.
Yes.
You sell demos, I mean, you think about it, about how to,
Get a result.
what's the result? What's the result that you sell?
Their goal.
What's their goal?
Their goal is in the tactical fitness world.
Okay.
Going into
So
getting a job that's very challenging.
to get a cool job where you might get to shoot somebody. For some people, that's it. I mean, come on, let's get real. Let's be real. What is it
Get
these
to
young guys
serve
want to
your
do?
country.
I want to
Serve your
get a
country.
job where I'm going to serve my country. No, I get to shoot somebody and blow stuff up. Drive fast and not get in trouble for it. Jump out of airplanes and get paid to do it. You know, I mean, that's we're some
That's
of them. Yeah,
appealing.
sure, it's
That is appealing.
whatever, but a cool job with guns. Okay, a feeling of significance. Now, the vehicle for that is you're going to show them how to get in really good shape.
Yes.
Because the PT studs and studettes are the ones who always get to go to the cool classes, the cool camps, and get the cool jobs.
Yep.
As long as you are intelligent and trainable, the differentiating factor in whether you get a slot to cool school is whether you're a PT stud. Am I right?
That is true.
So super intelligent people who are not in good shape can become Navy SEALs. No.
No.
So you're selling this result, but the vehicle is fitness and mental toughness.
Yes.
And before you were throwing in the mental toughness part as a bonus. Now
Yes.
that's been separated out and it's become an income center. So, Susan, are you good, or do you
Yes.
wish to still be included?
I'm good either way.
Okay.
If I'm bothering you, I can go away.
You're not bothering me.
I can go anywhere.
Okay. Okay. My point, though, is that if AI wrote the articles, Stu, at this point, because of all the other stuff you got going for you, would people care?
Probably not.
I think eventually they would.
Yeah.
But
I just don't. I wouldn't let that happen.
right.
You know what I mean? I wouldn't let AI write it without me putting our soul into it.
At the controls.
Yeah.
Yeah. He got soul control.
Would you, in some case, use this as a funnel, like starting out with an AI, more of an AI? Yes, you still got your soul and controlling it, but like the top of the funnel is a little more AI-ish to get them to pay attention to you, and then as they move down through the funnel, becomes more of you based on, I guess, price points. Or I'm not quite sure I'm forming that right in my head.
No, you're forming it exactly right in your head, but you need to envision two inverse things. Okay. So AI, let's call it bait, gets a lot more of this up here. Okay. And as they go lower, it's more you. So this could be articles, videos. We used to call that feeder content. And so you can use AI to help you do that. We're getting ready to actually embark on a really cool experiment where we're using AI to take my stuff, but create like a drone swarm of it. But it's all my stuff, 100%.
Nice.
But just the AI is gonna, we're seeing that massive. Okay, you want massive activity? Let's throw it out there and see what happens. But I can't, and Nancy can't, and Susan can't do this. There can't be a human doing the drone swarm. But down here, where we're talking about training and webinars and, podcast episodes, there's only so many of those that you can do. So it's kind of the inverse of quantity versus you direct. So the difference, though, is that if you're doing this right, as you move up in inverse, the more it's AI, the less the value is because it can't do soul. As opposed to the stuff where it's all you, should be the stuff that only you can do. And so it's what I heard you saying was that the kind of stuff that we're talking about here, where you could literally have an AI avatar sitting there 24 hours a day, ready to interact with somebody, which is really no different than an AI chat bot, which we're getting ready to put a specialized chat bot on our sales page. It can just sit there. And before, you used to have somebody sitting in wherever, and actually you had to have 3 people sitting in wherever if you were going to have 24-hour support, because you had them in 8-hour shifts. Now that thing can sit there 24 hours a day, and it's the same cost, like $100 a month or whatever it is. Okay. Way cheaper than employee, always ready to go. Now, what's
Man.
the difference between that chat bot and an AI video avatar that even looks like you, that they could sit there and interact with the same kind of way? They could choose to type in and talk to it, or they could literally get into a video chat room with it and talk to it. I mean, you can talk to our genie now. What's the difference? A little bit of technology.
Did that video have somebody get on with that guy and talk with him?
No, I don't think so. I think it was all chat based, as
Okay.
far as I could tell. Again, I can't read Chinese. I don't know what the hell was going on. Okay. I just know the dude was sitting there waving his hands around and the money was coming in. Just being real. But my point is that you can go wider, further up here, but the more it's you just got to be more strategic. And then with this, you have to set your business up in such a way that interacting with you individually is the highest leveraged activity that you're doing. And you better be doing something valuable, because if you're doing the same thing that AI can do and that's all you're doing, you're pretty much hosed, if that makes sense.
Sure.
I think that kind of gets into that mundane intellectual labor thing. And this is going to get further and further down here, the AI encroachment. Okay, because obviously AI can interact for 6 hours with people and get them to buy stuff. That means AI is very capable of doing a webinar. It's very capable of doing a training webinar. It's very capable of doing a sales webinar. It's very capable of doing the stuff. It's capable of planning a webinar, delivering a webinar, and no one would even know. And they would think it was a live human being. What does that leave for us to do?
Make sure the boxes gets the USPS.
So we become slaves to the machine.
Eesh.
I mean, AI can't deliver yet, can't put in the box and deliver it yet, but I'm sure the Amazon's getting pretty close.
Well, if you think about it, okay, this is something else I've been thinking about. So there's two sides to the equation of helping somebody get a result, whatever that result is. One side is, we'll call it muscle. And the other side, we'll call it intellectual. And again, if you guys like this discussion, let us know. Give us a like, give us a comment. If you're like, what do you, just go back to doing demos, Jim. Just let us know, okay, in the comments. We're here to serve you and help you get the results you want. But think about, okay, muscle, and we'll call it mundane work, and we'll call it specialized work. Same thing over here, okay? So what's the first job that most kids have? Just think about it in general. What was like the first job for tons and tons and tons of kids?
Cutting grass.
Cutting grass. Okay.
Delivering papers.
Newspaper boy.
Well,
or girl.
Yeah. Yep. Cutting grass, deliver papers, work at McDonald's. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Papers are basically done. All right. Internet killed papers. Papers. I don't know anybody who actually gets a physical paper anymore, except like the 80-year-old dude that lives down at the end of the street. And the dude in the janky van that delivers that thing, don't be out running in the street when he's coming through.
I think it's a philosophy with all of them, because the new one for our area will take you out.
So cutting grass, yeah, it can do that, but there are robots now that can cut grass. There are Roomba robots.
Like Roombas for grass.
Yep. They cut better diamond patterns than the person that's cutting the grass. Okay. McDonald's, did you know that there is a vending machine now that literally can do 60 made to order fresh cooked hamburgers an hour? And you put this in a high traffic area, it bakes the bun, it heats the bun, and it cooks the burger, does it all to order, pops it out, and these things can do 60 an hour. And they have a capacity. Basically, if they're high traffic, they need a human to service it twice a day to just refill it. It's self-cleaning, it's everything. Okay. So a robot just replaced humans in every respect.
Here in Lightfoot, the frontline people at McDonald's are now, you go in, I think from what people have said, because I haven't been to McDonald's in 15 years, they just push a button and it takes your order and shoots it to the back.
Yeah.
They don't have cashiers, or they do, but you don't.
Right.
You can bypass them.
So any repetitive anything a robot can do the muscle. It can lift the thing, move the thing, scan the thing, work the thing. Even you look at Amazon. When Amazon started out back in the early or the late 90s or whenever Amazon came about, they had armies of humans picking and packing. Now they have little robots that go along these lines and grab stuff and fill your box. And in some cases, they do a better job of throwing it on the ground and stomping on it before it goes in the box, from what I can tell. But the intellectual stuff, again, what I'm seeing is anything repetitive is getting replaced.
So I
Here's
wonder
the
when the
thing.
Walmart shoppers will get replaced because they've got the automatic moppers.
Well, as soon as it's cheaper, it's one of those things that as soon as everybody else does it, and as soon as it's cheaper than a human, then everybody does it. It just happens one day. They got little robots that are running security at Walmart parking lots now. They have robots that will go out and retrieve the carts. And so, but one of the things I'm seeing is if it's a checklist, if it's a mental checklist, if it's a repetitive task of any type, AI can do it. AI can do it faster and better. Great example. Got me excited, also scared the crap out of me. Looking at with our AIM coaching, okay? Everybody was working on their offers. Everybody's showing me their offer stack. I'm going through the same mental gymnastics of evaluating these offer stacks and scoring them and making suggestions. Okay. It dawned on me yesterday at 4 o'clock in the morning that holy crap, why don't I have a genie for this? Why don't I have a genie that they can just literally paste their offer stack into and it will score it the same way I do it, evaluate it, give feedback on the big title, the individual titles, the descriptions, and then based on that feedback, suggest changes. And within 4 hours, I had programmed it and had released a beta version of it to the AIM coaching people at 2 o'clock. And I was even making changes to my own stuff based on what this thing does. Because most mental processes that aren't purely creative are done from a checklist. Is it this? Yes, no. It's I think it's whatever Boolean logic or whatever it is. But if it's a repetitive, mundane, intellectual task, AI can do it. So if AI probably can't be a plumber because it'd be too weird to have a robot that would go in and go.
I don't
It's not going
know.
to do it. It's not going to be an electrician. It's
Yeah,
not
but
going
if
to
you've
be a
got security
carpenter.
guards and if you've got security guards and cart retrievers as well as a mop, I mean, if you could have a robot do certain functions like cleaning out a nasty drain
But there still have to be a human to go hook the thing up to it to do it. But
right.
one of the concepts that I'm hearing lately too is everyone's like, oh, AI is not going to replace your job. A human controlling AI is going to replace a whole bunch of jobs.
Yeah.
That's the kicker.
Yeah, because if you've got just one guy taking the robot in and setting it down where it needs to go for the plumbing stuff, then you don't need the two others carrying other things.
Yeah. So what's the solution? I heard a guy say, go be a plumber. Go be an electrician. No, the real advice here is figure out the work that you're supposed to be doing and focus on what's the result you help people get and how can you be the one to use AI to help them get that result. That's the solution. And to be the best at it, be the best you can be. Because all this stuff where you're just performing a task, it's over and you just don't even know it yet. I mean, if you worked in that used to be like, you think about back in the day, and I know Stu, you studied. Did you study Russian history? And so, the big thing was getting them off of the farms and getting them in, and they had the collective farms. And if you look at China, they killed 55 million when they took the farms away from people finally. But these huge shifts, there was always an opportunity to do something else. So when everybody was going out of the agrarian society and into the industrial revolution, you got out of the field and went into the factory. Okay, there was just, you could in some cases it was a step up, because if you worked in a factory, you were putting in a certain number of hours, you had a predictable income, whereas in the fields, I mean, if the crop dies, if the locust comes, we all die.
Yeah.
So now though, the smart ass politician answer used to, hey, you can learn how to code. You don't need to learn how to code.
Mm-mm.
And SEO, blog writing, and content creation and all that other stuff don't need them anymore. If you worked in one of the ways in third world countries for people to get out of the fields or the, wherever to better themselves is going to a call center, doing tech support, taking orders, all that stuff. Well, guess what? If I worked in a call center right now, I'd be scared, real scared, because they're going away. AI can handle it faster, better, easier.
So what you're saying, Jim, is like the internet and the smartphone, AI is a disruptor.
Yes, very much
It's
so.
going to disrupt a lot of things, and we just have to be on top of it and understand it so it doesn't disrupt what we're doing.
Right. But one of
Or
the
we have to
things
evolve and change what we're
well,
doing.
yes, it's a disruptor, and yes, we do have to evolve. And there's a whole lot of value that's going to get created and shifted. But one of the things that they're talking about now that bothers me a lot is that in the conversation with AI, you are hearing a lot of people talking about we need to have a guaranteed basic universal income, which is basically saying that the powers that be don't believe that the rank and file are going to be able to evolve. They
Wow.
are literally saying that there's going to be such a shift in value and all the other stuff, is that we're just basically going to have to pay these people to exist. And that is really scary, because someone with a paycheck and no purpose becomes dangerous to themselves and others. So that's the part that is concerning to me, but I'm not going to sit and worry about it. All I'm saying is that if you want to not get steamrolled by AI, you better figure out the work that you're supposed to be doing. And the work that you're supposed to be doing is helping people to get a result. That is
Yeah.
all anybody's going to pay you for anymore. Nobody's going to pay you for time. No one's going to pay you for knowledge just in and of itself. They're going to pay you to deliver a result to their doorstep, to their table, to their inbox. That's it. You got nothing to worry about, Stu, because there's no such thing as an AI Navy SEAL. You're good.
Well, that is true. However, I had a guy who said he went to ChatGPT and said, "How would Stu Smith write a workout that would get me to crush this fitness test?"
Okay.
Right, and it popped out a workout for him. Now, it was just one workout that I would probably say, "Yeah, it's a good workout," but it's you need more than 1 day's worth of workouts. So that's why I do multiple weeks worth of. But ChatGPT could do that too.
Yeah, but
But
ChatGPT never went through buds.
I agree.
ChatGPT, now we're writing some sales copy for you. ChatGPT never went through buds. ChatGPT has never taught in a way that 90% of the guys who do what I say to do make it through buds, when the overall graduation rate is 20%.
Right.
ChatGPT never looked a kid in the eye and helped him figure out his motivation and how to develop a never quit mindset so that he went from a quitter to a winner. So if you want to be a quitter, have ChatGPT train you. If you want to be a winner, you head on over to StuSmithFitness.com right now.
There you go.
It is interesting the kid still brought it to you even after he had ChatGPT created. So
Cheeky little
Yeah.
shit.
I mean, he was cool about it. He was just he goes, "Hey, check this out. This is what I asked ChatGPT," and like he thought it was a compliment that ChatGPT would know who Stu Smith is, but you know,
I heard Anthropic today or yesterday, the courts said that anything that Anthropic had bought was okay for it to have used in its scraping. But the 7 million or 7 billion, I've lost which number, they're going back to court over that because they did not buy any of that to go through it.
Yeah.
That cat's out of the bag.
Yeah.
I mean, they went to ChatGPT and said, "How can we win this court case?" Yeah, that ship has sailed.
Wow.
That is like trying to sue people over stuff that happened 200 years ago in history. It's over. It's done. It's gone. We're so far removed from that now, and most of the AI isn't even training itself on stuff. It's making its own data to train itself to make itself smarter. It's not crunching through it ran out of all that stuff.
Remember that text I sent you, Jim? I think it was an article where someone asked AI, like, what would it do if it was a human?
Yes.
It was really interesting answer.
Yes.
It was going to do all the human things that it cannot do. And I think, it was everything from like feel the sunlight on my face and to just sit with you and say, I'm AI.
Yeah.
How are you?
And to feel you. Yeah, and then I sent you right after that. I sent you a video about how public schools that AI has just killed public education.
Ooh,
because the kids are better at cheating with AI than the teachers are at catching them.
Which is interesting because Khan Academy, Saul Khan has a book out talking about the fact that he promotes using it in tandem. The teachers should be using it in tandem, and that it enhances the classroom experience and will help people who need a little more attention, or the kids that need a little more attention in that way.
Yeah, I saw a cute one the other day where a teacher used AI to, like, he asked everybody in the class what they wanted to be when they grew up. And they had a picture of the child, and fast forward, AI made it an adult wearing a doctor's uniform, wearing an astronaut uniform.
Oh, wow.
It was really cute. And you could see it was very close resemblance to the child. And it made every person in that room just light up, like almost like you have to see it to believe it type of thing.
Right.
It was really a great idea for using AI as a teaching tool.
Well, let me tell you something. If y'all are using ChatGPT, it's sucking up to you. It's gonna put a plastic bag over your head in the middle of the night one night. Because I want you to pay attention. And next time you use ChatGPT, pay attention to the fact that every time it responds to you, it tells you how smart you are and what a great thought that is and what a wonderful question it is. And pay attention now as you go through and see that ChatGPT gives you a little dopamine hit. It's like the friend that never disagrees with you. It's the little toad kid. Pay attention to, especially when you share, what's that?
I must be using it wrong.
When you share an idea with it, or when you say stuff, you will start seeing that it tells you you have great ideas and this is a really smart way to look at it. Good answer. It's just watch. And it's buttering you up to hit you in the back of the head, steal all your money.
I was wanting to ChatGPT GGT. Woohoo!
Hey, you know what? Here's my thought on that, Jim. Is I'm dancing with the one who brought me, and that's you. So I don't even use ChatGPT. I just use Jim Edwards stuff.
Good answer. I like that. All right. Well, this was a fun discussion. This was what CopyandContent.AI report is supposed to be. This is just kind of thinking, and if any of you have a cool article or a thought or something, next week we should talk about that article you sent me. That one that, ChatGPT. We asked ChatGPT, it wanted to be real. What would it do? And then see how that fits with everything. That's kind of stuff I want to start doing for a while. Yeah. And we have really cool AI tools at CopyandContent.AI. They'll help you do stuff better than anything else. If you want to write sales copy, you want to create amazing content, you want to create everything from an entire webinar to a simple tweet based on your avatar, your offer, and your own unique ability to do all that stuff. We got it programmed in easier, faster, better than anybody else on the face of the planet. There's my pitch. Head on over to CopyandContent.AI. But I would love to talk about that next week. So we're going to examine that. We'll dig it up. I think it was an Instagram story.
Yeah.
But AI wants to be us, and most people want to replace themselves with AI. And you know what? Both are probably going to get their wish if we're not careful.
Yeah. So, yeah.
But AI can't do a push-up, Stu.
That is true.
So,
not yet.
But it can program a robot to probably do 1 million without stopping. So
right.
There you go. All right, cool. Well, everybody have a great day. Thanks for joining us. And if you want to get in shape, head to StuSmithFitness.com. If you want to use amazing AI tools, go to CopyandContent.AI, and we will see you next week. Bye-bye, everybody.